Hi, I'm Gabby, and this is Haunt News. I'm here with Greg Shupe. He works for Halloween Haunt. He's been there for 9 years, right?
That's right, 9 years.
So you work at Halloween Haunt. What is Haunt?
Halloween Haunt, on paper, is a month-long event at Knott's Berry Farm in Buena Park. And they dress up the entire park with Halloween skeletons and cobwebs, and they set up haunted houses, and they have monsters roaming around, shows that are themed to Halloween. It's a big spectacle, but more than that, it's kind of a tiny little subculture. It's a tiny little tight-knit family that
a unit?
Yeah, yeah. We've kind of created a hodgepodge of all the misfits and freaks and weirdos in the world.
Freaks and weirdos?
Yeah.
So what made you want to join the freaks and weirdos at Haunt? What got you into this culture?
Truthfully, necessity. I was having trouble making rent, and a buddy of mine worked there, and he said, it's hours, it's minimum wage, but it's a job, so go do the work. And I realized in the first night that I was going to do it for as long as I could. It's such a fun experience. Where else do you get paid to play dress up and scare strangers?
So there are scare zones and mazes, right?
Yes, that's right.
And what are the difference between each one?
Mazes are kind of the bread and butter. That's what everybody comes to see. That's what everybody's coming to see, the new big thing, the big new attraction. They're all haunted houses. You kind of walk through and see a story unfold before you, and all of the monsters are part of that story.
Wow.
We're all actors playing a role, but we're also trying to scare you. The streets are more like area talent. We walk around trying to figure out a character and trying to scare you as you're walking from getting your churro to going to see the new maze.
Right, and are there auditions for these? What do you have to do? How does one get into it?
Well, for the street zones, we have to audition. They want us to be the best of the best. They want us to know that we're a character telling a story and that we're going to be bringing the energy every night, challenging ourselves to be the best. So we have to go in and kind of show them who our character is and do a little improv. It's a silly thing.
Do you have a favorite between the mazes, the scare zones?
I think they're both so important. I did 4 years in mazes before I started in Camp Snoopy Streets.
Oh, okay.
And it made me better. That's where you learn the kind of the timing of it. You get to kind of spot a crowd. You can spot the guy who's going to try and hit you. It's important before you go to
That's
streets.
got to be scary, having somebody come up to you and want to hit you.
Yeah, it can be very vulnerable because they think that they're trying to be tough and you can't scare me.
Oh my gosh. So what do you do in that kind of situation?
You just walk away. It's all you can do. I'm working.
You're probably as scared as they are when that happens.
Yeah, I'm defenseless and I'm wearing a rubber mask. They have all their friends.
Right, yeah, exactly. So what kind of monsters have you been in the past?
I've done a lot of different things through the years. I was a nerd in Hatchet High. I was a mechanic in 13X Murder Manor. And then I was an electroshock victim in the Asylum Maze.
Oh, wow.
And then I went to the Gauntlet, which was the Camp Snoopy Street Zone. It was medieval themed. So for a while I was a peasant and a merchant. And then a couple years ago, the Gauntlet became Necropolis, and it's kind of the city of the undead, vampires and steampunks. It's kind of a weird world. But
I want to go there. That sounds like a lot of fun, actually.
It's a lot of fun. The best times I've ever had were in Necropolis.
Wow. So what do you do to get into character?
It's different every year, depending on the character. This past year, I got really into this character. I was kind of a plague doctor trying to fix the vampires.
Oh my gosh.
And I had to kind of figure out like how that character would interact with people, because I'm not just interacting with the guests, I'm interacting with other street monsters. And all of them have their own story to tell, so you kind of have to find your own place in this universe, in this story that we're trying to tell the guests. So I kind of had to like focus on like his motivations, where he's coming from, and what he wants from all of the victims, not just the monsters that I interact with, but the guests. The guests are my victims.
Oh, gosh.
So you kind of have to figure out
and
like
they feel, I guess, what you're trying to portray.
That's
with
what
them.
I'm hoping for.
How many different sections are there in the park?
There's 3 main street zones. We have Ghost Town Streets, which is the Calico area.
Okay.
It's so amazingly themed. It's all original Wild West buildings that Walter Knott had bought for around like old ghost towns and mining towns
right,
that are closed down. And then there's the boardwalk streets. It's kind of the misfit clowns that from the 1920s that kind of went crazy, and they're looking for
Yeah, that would
revenge.
scare me. Clowns freak me out.
They freak out a lot of people. It's primal fear. And then there's Necropolis, the city of the undead. We're trying to steal away our victims' bloods, and we're using them in our steampunk contraptions to kind of run our city.
Oh, that sounds like fun. So I hear that you're retiring. Are you going to do anything?
Yeah, I don't have to retire. I'm ready to retire.
ready?
I did 9 years. I'm older now. I'm not as good as I used to be, and I know anything worth doing, I want to be the best at.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So do you have any advice for anybody that wants to join Halloween Haunt?
Just go do it. It's the most fun you'll ever have. Most of us would do it for free. The minimum wage paycheck is just an added bonus. It's a silly world full of the most interesting people you'll meet. You have a chance to kind of flex a creativity that most of us don't get to try.
Right.
You can create your own character. You get some people get so into the costumes. It's an amazing experience, and I think everyone should try it.
And when the costumes, do you make them yourselves? Do they make them? Do you bring other elements into it?
Knott's Berry Farm has a very expansive wardrobe department with makeup, and they provide almost everything that you could possibly want. But some of us get so invested in the event that we've been doing for so long, we bring in our own stuff, and we'll get it approved through the proper channels, but we'll wear our own costumes. For the last 5 years, I've worn my own custom mask that I paid for out of pocket. Knott's doesn't pay for that, but I do it because we love the event. We want to create the best.
Yeah, the passion that you have for being there.
Yeah, exactly.
And wanting to scare people.
Yeah. But yeah, they provide everything, so we don't have to provide anything. It's an investment in what we love. It's a passion project for us.
And do you have any favorites that you just love dressing up as?
This past year, as the Plague Doctor, was my best year ever. It was the most interesting, complex character I've ever had a chance to play. I got to the way that I set the character up is he was supposed to interact with more people. Like his goal was to find the cure for vampirism. He didn't believe that it was a curse. It was like rabies for him.
Oh my gosh!
So there was one night where the doctor who I played walked down the street with the preacher, and we argued the entire way about whether or not he was throwing his life away, chasing this metaphysical hogwash. When I'm finding the cure, we should be working together for the cure, and he's talking about the power that we possess, and just as we're walking, in character, arguing, not even interacting with the guests, we can see people out of the corner of our eyes stop and watch, like, what's going on here? That's
trying to figure out what's happening. Yeah. Is this a script that you guys write, or do you just go out there?
It's all improv. It's all kind of trying to tell a story.
Right. Telling a story on stage, and do you guys interact with other people?
Yeah,
we talk to them.
Yeah, we try and we're there for the guests, so we want to interact with them as much as possible. So we try and bring them into the story. So as the doctor, I would try and explain, like, I'm going to make this better. I'm going to fix us all, but I need your help.
And do they participate?
Usually not. Not a lot of bloodletting. If they tried, I'd have to stop.
Oh, really? Oh, not too much flexibility there,
the
right?
bosses, they frown on letting people stab themselves in public.
Oh, yeah, that wouldn't be too much fun. That kind of put a downer on.
Well, it's a mess, really. It's a mess.
But you guys are allowed to make the mess.
No. That'll get you walked out.
Right, and you don't want that.
No.
So out of all the time there, did you have a favorite scare?
One of the best scares I've ever had was my very first year when I was in Hatchet High. I was a gnarled nerd, and there was a guy in the first room who had a chainsaw, and he would chase groups down the hallway into my room.
Oh my gosh.
And I would hide behind the fog machine and come running through and jump up onto this metal table and slam my hands down just as the people ran in. And they were being chased by a chainsaw, so they would run forward and then see me, and they would just fall backwards. It was this domino effect that I couldn't get enough of. I ended up yanking the table out of the wall because I kept jumping on it too hard.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. It was dangerous. I ended up breaking my wrist a little bit.
You did?
It was fine.
Oh my gosh.
It makes a weird click.
I'm sure it's really good exercise, all that movement around and everything.
Oh yeah, haunt everybody loses that haunt weight. Everybody loses anywhere from 10 to 30 pounds in a 6-week period.
So you go in, kind of some meat on you, and then you leave skinny as a skeleton.
Yeah. I was 35 pounds heavier a year ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
I love it.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for watching on Haunt News.